everyone. Hi, it's me, Chanel, and I want to thank you for tuning in to The Prescription. Guess what? Episode 10, and I am so excited to hit number 10. And I know it's dark, but I am actually in Winter Park by Lake Victoria, and it is absolutely beautiful, gorgeous weather out here. So, with that being said, I'm going to go into today's topic, which is heart condition. And you may ask me, what exactly do you mean by heart condition, right? Well, when I say heart condition, what I'm referring to is what is in your heart when you do the things you do. What's the intent behind it, correct? So, as I delve into this, I want you to keep that in mind as I go through different examples. So, I got this topic when I was listening to Apostle Sheila a few weeks ago, and I started thinking, we are all here to contribute to society. And truthfully, we receive to give, and we give to receive in turn. And it doesn't matter whether you're religious or spiritual, it doesn't matter, or neither. It's just we're here to bless others. That's part of our purpose here on earth. And so this can be done in so many different forms, so many different venues. It can be something as simple as being an ear to listen to someone who just needs to vent or is in distress. It could be something as providing food, resources, shelter. It could be a ride. It could be something as big as an opportunity for someone to change their life. And it really doesn't matter whether it's done publicly, privately, large, medium, small. What only matters is what is the intent behind what you do. And as I'm delving into this, I'm going to go through some different examples, and I want you to apply it accordingly to your life. And since I said large first, right, I decided to start with an example of philanthropy. And with this one, it's a little broad scale and it might not fit most things, but I want you, again, to apply it according to your life. So when you think of philanthropy, right, those are people who are doing work for the good of society in some form or fashion. And I want you to think about it like this, like someone who is aspiring to be or someone who's already a philanthropist. Why are they doing what they do? Is it actually to help the individuals that are in the cause, to help the individuals that are under this plight, or is it for spotlight? How about philanthropists who knowingly support or advocate for organizations that defraud their donors, or take most of the profits and give a minimum amount to the recipients, and some even exploit the recipients? That's what I mean by what is the intent behind what you do. And it doesn't matter whether you're actually the one giving or you're advocating on behalf of other people giving when you know that it's not right. So I'm going to go to some a little more day-to-day, maybe some more relatable. Like, since I'm in another gorgeous park, let's say, for instance, you're sitting in a park or you're walking in a park and you see someone who's less fortunate, and you decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to give them some food, a blanket, some water, money, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. But then you grab your phone and go on social media and you go live. And my question is, if you truly meant to help someone and it's coming from your heart, why do you need a platform to display that? What's the intent behind it? Are you looking for accolades, a pat on the back, kudos? Like, really, what's your true motive for that giving? And for me, I feel that if you are doing something just because it's the right thing to do, or you're just trying to give random acts of kindness, why does anybody need to know other than the person who you give it to? Or if somebody who may be helping you deliver it or aid in that cause. Now, I'm going to say two things. First of all, if the people who receive or someone with you does it, you can't control somebody else. And also, secondly, this does not imply to like bigger events or events where you're trying to get people out to receive, or humanitarian, you're trying to get donors. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about things that do not have to be publicized to be done. And some of those too, but it's truly what is the intent behind it. Now, I want to say that we have contrarians out there, and they're going to say, well, I'm doing it to expose different situations, or I'm trying to inspire people. And so my defense to that is, how? All right. So you're trying to inspire someone. Let's start there first. Who are you really inspiring? Like, I've been on Facebook, I've been on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. I've seen people, go and give people money, give people sandwiches, different things. But I'm going to be honest, I have never been inspired by seeing that live. And if to be truthfully honest, a lot of it looks very disingenuous. And if you really look at the way the people are going live, a lot of these people seem as if they're bragging because they have it and they're doing different things. In turn, it really looks more like self-glorification than actually giving out of a random act of kindness. And then you say exposure. All right. So what exactly are you exposing? Because see, my thing is, if you're only showing the person in the situation and you're showing you giving them something, all you're doing is actually exploiting this person's situation when they didn't ask you to put them on blast. They didn't ask you to do that. How about you expose the people that put them in the conditions? How about you expose the parts of society that added to their plight or their cause or whatever it is? That's exposure. But you sharing with other people someone else's pain, especially without not telling them, doesn't expose anything but your intent, to me. So now let's go in a different direction. I'm going to give you a different type of situation. Say, for instance, someone's in need of a place to stay and they ask, can they stay in your home, right? Do you help them with a smile and be like, yeah, come in? Or do you possibly exploit them? You know, and what I mean by exploit them, or even do it begrudgingly, you know, it doesn't really matter. But when someone's staying in your house and they're in a bad situation, are you going around telling other people that you're helping them out or what they're doing? Those people didn't ask you to do that. They don't want people to know they're essentially homeless. And why are you doing that if you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart, or you're doing it because you want to help someone who's in a bad situation? More so on the exploiting side, how about this? How about charging someone to stay with you when they're in a bad situation and they can't afford to save up to leave because they're paying you more than they can? And in turn, they have now become your passive income. And they didn't even know it. Didn't even ask it. They didn't even realize it. They really think that you're helping them. But in actuality, instead of you being a help, they're being a benefit to you. And now they're stuck in a situation they can't get out because they can't save up enough money to leave because they're paying you more than they can afford. The intent behind what you're doing. What about something like your best friend called and said, I don't have no food in the house. Can you help me? Do you run and be like, hey, look, I'll come over there and drop some money off, or can you come pick it up? I got you if you have it. Do you say it without a doubt? What about if you don't have any money? Do you say, hey, look, I don't have no money, but it don't matter. I got food. Can you get over here? You can raid my cabinets. You can raid my refrigerator. Go put something in your house. Do you do that without a second thought? Even further, what if you don't have any food and you be like, hey, look, I'm in the same situation as you. You know what? Let's put our heads together and we're going to fix each other. And in turn, not only are you helping them, you're helping yourself. And now both of you now have resources when you get in trouble or when someone else is in trouble to help them later on. Do you do that? What exactly is your heart condition? What is your intent behind what you do? Because see, some people will do these things, but they don't want to. They only do it because they don't want people to know that they are mean or evil inside, you know what I'm saying? Or they just don't like you or don't want to help you or just being stingy. So they'll do it begrudgingly because they don't want nobody else to know because they had it and they just didn't want to give. Other people will do it kind of spitefully because somebody else will know or will tell them, hey, help that person out, you know you can do it. So their intent wasn't to help, their intent was just not to look bad, or they felt bad, or they didn't want to disappoint someone else. That's what I mean. Check your heart condition when you do stuff. So now I'm going to get into a slight math example. So let's say, for instance, you're down to like your last $15, right? So you go to the gas station, you put $9 in your tank, right? You're like, I'm hungry, I'm a little thirsty, so I'm going to get something to eat. And so you're walking to your car, you're getting in after you pumped your gas, you're opening your door, and someone comes up to you and says, hey, I'm hungry, can I get $3 to go with what I have so I can get me something to eat? And you think, wow, I only got 6 left now, so if I give them 3, that's half of what I have left. Will you do it? What if that's all you had to your name? Would you still say, here, I'll take something less so I can eat, so I can help someone else eat? And when I was thinking about that, I started thinking about that song by Kendrick Lamar, How Much Does a Dollar Cost? And you know, in that song, he's talking about salvation, which is really true, but I'm thinking about it in a whole different level. First, how much did that cost if you had it to spare? Like, say, for instance, that's just all you had on you, you had some more. Would you give them the whole 6? Would you give them the 3? Like, what would you do? And before I go into the contrast of that, I'm going to step into this, because some people say, well, what if they really didn't want the money? Or what if I don't know? Or they look like they want it for something else? And my answer to that is, it doesn't even matter. If someone asks you for help because they need something or whatever, and you give it to them with that intent, it is now their responsibility to do what they need to do to change that situation or fix that situation. It doesn't matter what it is. That is not your job. We are here to help. We're not here to analyze. In a sense, that's judging. Now, for the contrast of that, what if that was the last of your money, or you really didn't have it to spare? I want you to think about it like this. Is that person in a worse position than you? Or how about this? What do you have to lose by helping this person versus what is that person going to gain from you helping them? And evaluate it like that. And for those who really know and really understand what I'm talking about, you know that when you give, you will receive in return. And it's not just because you're doing it with the intention of receiving in return. It's because you're going to be blessed because you're giving it from a pure place, from a pure heart. You didn't care if you gave it back or not. You seen someone who needed it and you say, you know what, I have another, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to give it to them. And that's what I'm talking about. So that's why I'm imploring you to delve inside and check your heart condition. And when you're looking inside and you checking that heart condition, if it ain't right when you do things, fix it. And that's the point of this, the prescription. Let's fix it and find our own prescription, right? Because at the end of the day, we have all been in lack. We have all had a point in our life where we needed something. Some more than others, it don't even matter. We've all needed help at some point. And no one ever wants to be on that receiving end of bitter help, self-righteous help, exploitative help, or not receiving help when you know the person you asked can do it and they just didn't want to do it for whatever reason. So with that being said, at this moment, I'm going to tell you, get your personal stethoscope and check your heart. Do a self-diagnostic on yourself and make changes and adjustments where necessary. Because see, me personally, I check my intentions behind everything I do all the time. Because truly, we go through things. We go through emotions. We go through frustrations. We go through up and downs, obstacles, all in our life. And sometimes it can be translated accidentally in what we do. And it's not because we meant to. It's just our mind is not right. We're out of alignment. We're out of balance. So when you do these checks, it lets you know what? Let me get myself back in line. You know, I'm tripping a little bit. We're human. We're flawed. There's nothing wrong with that. But once you identify and you know how to identify, you know how to fix it instead of keep operating in the dark or keep operating knowing that you're just not right and what you're doing is not right. So me personally, I would say give yourself a 30 or 90-day checkup. And that way, when something happens and a situation occurs, you know you can do it from the right place. You know you can do it from the pureness, from the righteousness, and from the goodness of your heart. And you're not just doing it or not doing it out of malintent. Because in the end, it never can hurt to change yourself. It can only help you. And with that being said, I always say love and light. And I wish you guys a beautiful, beautiful night. It's great out here. If y'all ever go to Winter Park, please come down here and see Lake Victoria. I wish it was a little more light out, but it's not. But it's gorgeous out here. Y'all have a wonderful evening. And definitely tune in tomorrow for Street Poetry. I'm having King on. And he's another really, really great dope poet. All right. Good night.